Hello everyone. We are discussing William Shakespeare's play As You Like It. This is our fifth video in the series and we have started with the paraphrases. We have already discussed Act 1, Scene 1 and this is our second video on the paraphrases of the text, and in this video we will be discussing the remaining two scenes of Act 1. So we'll be completing Act 1 in this video. Act 1, Scene 1. We had discussed this in the previous video. This scene takes place in the orchard of Oliver's house, and we see Orlando lamenting on the ill treatment of his elder brother Oliver. And when Oliver comes, the two, that is Orlando and Oliver, they enter into an argument, and Orlando literally grabs Oliver and he demands from Oliver that whatever he is entitled to according to his father's will, he should be given. Otherwise, he is not going to leave Oliver. So Oliver finally agrees to give him his due, and after this, when Charles approaches Oliver, then he learns about a wrestling match, which the challenge that Orlando has accepted, and he instigates Charles to defeat Orlando in the fight and literally to kill him. And we come to know that Oliver has a great dislike for his younger brother Orlando, and he really wishes that he be killed by Charles in that wrestling match. So in this scene, we are also informed that Duke Frederick, he has usurped the throne of Duke Senior, and he has exiled the king, and the king Duke Senior, he has moved into the forest of Arden. So the theme of usurpation and injustice, which is an important theme of the play, it is introduced in the very first scene of the play. Act 1, Scene 2. It takes place in a lawn before Duke Frederick's palace, and Rosalind, the daughter of the banished Duke, is in a very sad mood, while Celia, Duke Frederick's daughter, is trying to cheer her up. Celia is aware of the injustice done to her uncle, Duke Senior, by her father, and so she promises Rosalind that she would restore the dukedom to Rosalind after her father's death. The two ladies then start talking about love and express their opinion about it. Celia then starts criticizing Lady Fortune. She mocks at Lady Fortune, and she feels that Lady Fortune is unjust and partial in showering her favors upon undeserving persons. And Rosalind agrees that Lady Fortune is certainly a blind woman who is especially unfair towards women. So Rosalind, she says, I would we could do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced, and the bountiful blind woman doth most mistakes in her gifts to women. Bountiful blind woman is Lady Fortune here. She's talking about Lady Fortune. And Celia furthermore adds, it's true for those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favoredly. So Celia, she says that Lady Fortune is so unjust that she bestows beauty upon those women who are unchaste and chastity upon those who are ugly. So after this light conversation between the two ladies enters Touchstone, the court jester, and he is welcomed by both Rosalind and Celia. he informs the two ladies that he has come to take them to the Duke. He has come as a messenger of the Duke, and the three of them, that is Celia, Rosalind, and Touchstone, they enter into a witty exchange, and we come to know about the role of Touchstone in the play. Now, Touchstone, he arouses mirth and laughter in the play with his wit. So here we find an example of it. Next enters Liboy, and Liboy is a courtier, and he comes and he informs the ladies about the wrestling match, and he tells the ladies that they have missed a good sport, as Charles, the champion wrestler, has defeated his three young opponents, and next he is going to fight with a young man named Orlando. After that, Rosalind, Celia, Duke Frederick, they reach the wrestling ground, and Orlando arrives, and Charles and some attendants are also there. So everybody thinks, looking at Orlando, everyone feels that Charles would easily defeat Orlando, and Rosalind and Celia, they pity Orlando, who is a handsome young man, and they try to stop him. They don't want that he should risk his life fighting in the court, and they feel that Charles is undoubtedly a man of great strength, and he would certainly defeat Orlando. So all the three, that is Duke Frederick, Rosalind, and Celia, they try to stop Orlando from fighting with Charles. But Orlando is quite determined, and he is not convinced by the lady's request, and he says that from the text, I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me, the world no injury, for in it I have nothing. So Orlando is determined to fight, and he says that even if he is defeated, then he has nothing to lose. So the ladies should let him fight. So after that, in the contest, Charles is surprisingly defeated by Orlando, and everybody is surprised at Charles' defeat, and the Duke is the Duke wants to congratulate Orlando, but when he learns that Orlando is the son of Sir Roland de Boys, his enemy, he loses his temper, and he moves from there without rewarding Orlando. So Duke Frederick, he says to Orlando, now he wishes that he would have been somebody else's son. So he says to Orlando, I would thou had been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father unhonorable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou should have better pleased me with this deed, had thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. I would thou had told me of another father. So we see how Duke Frederick reacts, although he accepts this thing that Orlando is a brave young man, but he doesn't reward him because he is the son of his enemy. So Celia and Rosalind, they are both shocked at the behavior of the Duke, and so Rosalind and Celia, they try to cheer up Orlando by their words. Rosalind even offers her necklace, and Orlando wants to talk to Rosalind, but he is in short of words, and he says, "What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference." So Orlando, he has fallen in love with Rosalind, and he cannot. He wants to talk to Rosalind, but he cannot talk. So at this moment, Leboy enters, and Leboy he asks Orlando to leave the court at once, and uh, because Duke Frederick is after him, and then, before leaving, Orlando inquires about the two ladies from Livoy, and he is informed that the two ladies, among the two ladies, the taller one is the daughter of the banished Duke, and the other one is the daughter of Duke Frederick. Leboy also says that Duke Frederick's daughter Celia is of noble nature, and she is not like Duke Frederick, and she loves her cousin Rosalind immensely. Now Orlando leaves the place thinking high about Rosalind, so thinking heavenly about Rosalind. So this is Act 1, Scene 2, and we see that the central theme of the play, that is the theme of love, it it takes place in this very scene. That is, we see Orlando falling in love with Rosalind at the first sight. Act 1, Scene 3 takes place in a room in the palace of Duke Frederick. Rosalind and Celia are seen engaged in a conversation, and they are talking of love. Rosalind expresses her love for Orlando, and she asks Celia to love him for her sake. So when the two are talking of love, they are interrupted by the Duke's entrance. Now the Duke is in an angry mood, and he tells Rosalind that she is banished from the place, and she should leave the court, and if she is found within 20 miles of the court, she would be killed. She is given a time of 10 days. Rosalind wants to know her fault. She says that she has been loyal to the Duke all the time, and so why is she being punished in this manner? So Duke Frederick he says that since she is the daughter of the banished Duke, he cannot trust her. Celia intervenes, and she tells her father that if Rosalind is a traitor, then so is she. So she says to Duke Frederick, "If she be a traitor, why so am I? We still have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, ate together, and wheresoever we went, like Juno's swans, still we went coupled and inseparable." So Celia, she says that both of them, they have been like Juno's swans, and they are inseparable, and therefore wherever Rosalind would go, she would be with uh, Rosalind. Now Duke Frederick is angry, and he calls Celia a fool, and he says to Celia about Rosalind, "She is too subtle for thee, and her smoothness, her very silence and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool, she robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone." So this is Duke Frederick objects to this thing. He feels that Rosalind is being pitied by the people, and because of her rising popularity, Celia is being ignored. So he explains this thing to Celia, and then he says to Celia, then open not thy lips, firm and irrevocable is my doom, which I have passed upon her, she is banished. So she says to Celia that his decision is firm and it would not change, and he has banished Rosalind. So after this, Duke Frederick leaves, and Celia talks to Rosalind, and Celia says that she would be accompanying Rosalind and she would not leave Rosalind alone. So she says that she cannot part with Rosalind and she would go wherever Rosalind would go. So both the two girls they discuss where they would be going, and Celia suggests that they should go into the forest of Arden in search of their uncle. So the two girls decide to disguise themselves and move towards the forest of Arden. So Rosalind, who is the taller one, she disguises herself as a man named Ganymede, and Celia is to be called Elena. The two now asks Touchstone to accompany them, and so Touchstone would be going with them, and now they plan to leave the court and move to the forest of Arden. So the scene now, it would shift from the court to the forest of Arden. So this is all what happens in Act 1, Scene 3. Now, this Act 1 is a very important act in the sense that it introduces us to the main themes of the play, that is the theme of love as well as the theme of usurpation and injustice.